right, wonderful people, lovers of freedom. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and every one of you. Welcome back to Expose News TV. Yes, my people, we are back again to give you back-to-back updates on how things they be, on how things they shell. Yes, and as we know today, not today, as yes, today is the so-called 1st October, which represents the Independence Day for the zoo country. Yes, and of course, coming straight from the PM, Simon Ekpa, as he has directly and authoritatively cancelled anything connecting the Independence Day or celebrating the Independence Day in Biafraland. Yes, 1st October does not have any value as far as we are concerned in Biafraland, and that is what the PM Simon Ekpa has said as he has cancelled it. Yes, that is just the truth of the matter. We will be going into the details as we have other things in details to also talk about amidst the October 1st so because this is we all know that all this does not hold water, because it of course it does not apply to us. We are not people that would be moved by anything that concerns this set of people. Okay, we are going directly into the details of this news. Yes, the Simon Edward itself declared they keep making that particular mistake of calling himself declared. Simon Ekpa is the Prime Minister of the Biafra government in exile. He has officially cancelled Nigeria's independence, the celebrations across Biafraland. My people, before I continue, I would like you to understand that there is a full-time audio, yes, of PM Simon Ekpa making this particular talk concerning this Biafra land. It would be nice for you to listen to the end so that you would hear everything he said in details. But then, for now, this is what you should get for now. He says the declaration made just days before Nigeria's 64th Independence Day, I don't know which particular year they are in, has sparked unrest in the region as Biafra groups prepare for the mass demonstrations. It says here that Ekpa, who has become one of the most vocal leaders of the Biafra separatist movement, made the announcement in a broadcast to his followers. He called on all the residents of Biafraland to boycott any form of celebration, urging them to instead observe a total shutdown of the region to protest. Shutdown of the region. Eba's declaration effectively called for a sit-at-home order, a strategy frequently used by Biafra activists to demonstrate resistance against the zoo state. Of course, they called it the Nigerian state. No independence for Biafra under Nigeria. So yes, in his book, PM Simon Ekpa emphasized that Biafrans have no reason to celebrate the zoo Independence Day as they continue to fight for their own freedom, as we continue to fight for our own freedom and independence from the zoo government. He stated that October 1st has no significance for Biafrans as it represents the oppression and the subjugation of the people, of the Igbo people under Nigerian rule. We do not have to overemphasize how this has affected each and every one of us, and how we don't need to even go into the details of this oppression and subjugation that the Biafrans have been going through, and we know it is not a new news that this is what we have been going through, and we only hope that things get better. Yes, there is no independence. This is still coming from the PM. There is no independence for Biafra under Nigeria. We cannot and will not celebrate a country that has marginalized, brutalized, and repressed our people for decades. On October 1st, there will be no celebrations in Biafra land, only resistance. Eba further warned that any attempts by the Nigerian government to force the region to participate in Independence Day activities will be met with defiance. He called on Biafrans to remain indoors and avoid public gatherings and refuse to acknowledge the national holiday, referring to it as a day of mourning for the Igbo people. Of course, that is what it is, because at this particular moment, it would not be referred to anything but that. Even as we are talking to you right now, this particular issue is an issue that, if you were to think about, would cause a whole lot of mayhem in our time right now, because we have no reason, just like the PM ever has been emphasizing, there is no reason whatsoever to even celebrate. So I do not think that them anything happening on 1st October is even should be regarded on any ground, and that is just the truth of the matter. The earlier we get to listen to this, or the earlier we get to hearken to what has been said, the better for us. Of course, I just gave you a brief detail about it, and I would want you to listen to what the PM himself said about this. Enjoy.
That any of you who want to make your contribution will join me without wasting any time in order to make your contribution, because, like as I said before, I don't want to stay too long here. Now, according to the PM, Nigeria October, pay attention please. Nigeria October 1st is banned in Biafraland. Let this particular information sink in your head. Let this particular information sink in your head. Tomorrow, everything Nigeria, everything Ifo Bonabasalu Nigeria, Ifo Bonabasalu Zoo in our land, within Biafra territory, will be shut down. This is not a joke. There will be no movement from 6 a.m. till 4 a.m. This is today. This very command is today. This morning. So, this very word is very, very strong. Very, very strong. Look at it there. Let this particular information sink in your head. That brings me back to what happened on the 30th of May. This same year, 2024. Pay attention, I'm taking you somewhere. If you haven't shared the broadcast, do it right now, please. Every individual in Biafraland, especially in Biafraland, must get this message. Must. I said capital MUST must get this very message. And if you are listening to me from the diaspora, you live in abroad, we all know that nobody is an island. You did not fall from sky. You came from somewhere and you left that place to your destination where you are right now. So, and you believe that your people do not have access to the media. It is your responsibility to put call across, inform them after this very broadcast. Let them know that tomorrow will be total shutdown in Biafra territory. Anything that represents the zoo, according to the PM, I did not see a general, I did not see, general, I did not see sit at home. I did not see, public, shutdown of the entire Biafra land. Oh, there is it's actually there. According to him, he said, tomorrow, everything Nigeria within Biafra land will shut down. Then he went on to say, look at it here. There will be no movement. There will be no movement. So therefore, there is shutdown of the entire Biafra territory tomorrow. Not only the zoo institutions, because as I'm talking to you right now, the zoo institutions are currently under shutdown because of our 1 month shutdown of the zoo institutions within Biafra territory. So he said there will be no movement, meaning that the entire Biafra territory will be under lock and key. He said from 6 a.m. till 4 p.m. in the evening time. No movement. Now, this very instruction is coming from the office of the Prime Minister of Biafra, whom over 50 million Biafrans have given mandate to fight for them, declare their independence, and of course defend them. And he and the government in exile and the de facto government in homeland have been doing it diligently. As you all can see, what seemed to be miracle at the moment, where we now have the army of Biafra, we now have the navy of Biafra defending and fighting against the terrorists whose objective is to come, massacre, chase away, take over, and conquer. So the government has been doing everything it can within its powers to safeguard the Biafra territory and protect our women and children in our land. So once the same government that has the mandate of the people gives an instruction, the people ought to obey. These are your own sacrifice. People are fighting for it. So that little sacrifice you can pay, you have to pay it for your freedom. Now, as if that is not enough, I'm going to explain a lot of things to you. I want you to follow me as we move with speed. There will be no movement from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Like as I said before, it is your responsibility. Your responsibility. Some people are talking about protest. There is no protest in Biafra territory. Anybody, remember I talked about the criminals who have been there deceiving people, pushing Mazinam Dekano front and back, making him to go for, back and forth, turning him left, right, and center all through these years in the name of agitation. We have gone beyond that. What we are doing right now is liberation struggle. We are no longer into agitation. So those idiots who are agitating, I want to advise them again. If you know the meaning of liberation struggle, you shouldn't be talking about agitation again. Anybody you hear anybody telling you about Biafra agitation, that person is living in the past. And as you are so intelligent, as an intelligent Biafran as you are, or that you are, must not pay attention to anybody who is living in the past. As an intelligent Biafran that you are, you cannot pay attention to those who are still living in the past, who are not following the current trend. Ifana kona buyugwe, sakatum, sakatum, kaboom, kaboom, which is called, in a simple term, liberation struggle. It has absolutely nothing to do with agitation. So we don't live in the past. We have passed through the agitation process and period. Now we are in liberation. So anybody telling you about protest, it is not that person or that group of people are not representing Biafra. You must discard it. You must disassociate yourself from such nonsense. There is no protest tomorrow in Biafraland. Anybody who wants to do protest should carry it to Nigeria. There could be protests in Nigeria, but in Biafra territory, it is shut down. Why did I tell you that tomorrow is very, very significant in the life of every Biafran and, of course, the lovers of freedom? I will get to that point. I will definitely get to that point. Now, I want you to pay attention because the instruction from the office of the Prime Minister did not end there. As we continue, he said again, Nigeria October 1st celebration is banned in Biafra territory. Over 50 million Biafrans who voted in the self-referendum will mind their businesses. Every Nigerian institutions in Biafraland will be shut down tomorrow, 1st October 2024. Biafrans can go about their businesses. So it is now clearer here. It is now what? Clearer here. Because it seems like he realized the confusion in the first tweet. Then he came back again and retweeted it, which I will be reading from the official flyer just in a jiffy. Are you paying attention? So now, if you have anybody in Biafra land, which is now taking us back to the campaign of the 1 month lockdown of Biafra of zoo institutions within the Biafra territory, which is taking us back to that same kind of campaign, that anybody working in the zoo institution within Biafra land must pay attention to this, must sit in their various homes tomorrow. Because Obuniji Femelo na 30th of May 2024, we compare, remember that was Biafra Remembrance Day. Now, how is it going to be? How will it be when the zoo is celebrating independence within Biafra territory? Are you getting it? So please, if you are calling your home, you are calling them based on what? There is no celebration of the zoo independence in Biafra land whatsoever. And again, those who have people who are working in the zoo institutions within Biafra land should, without any further hesitation, call them and tell them that the Biafra government that they have voted for, because even those who are working for the zoo have also voted and given their mandates. Don't think that these 50 million Biafrans are only, businessmen. A lot of 99.999% of civil servants serving the zoo in Biafra land have also voted for Biafra exit from the Zoological Republic. So, anybody threatening them is on their own. If you are threatening any of our people whose only way of making any living as it stands right now is to work as a civil servant under the zoo institutions in Biafra land, and you are threatening them for whatsoever reason, you are on your own, in as much as that very word or threat is not coming from the Biafra government. Now, having said this, let us read from the official flyer. This very flyer will show us a lot. Please pay attention, my people. If you haven't liked the broadcast, please, I really don't know what you are waiting for. We are heading to the main topic, which has brought us here this evening. And remember what I said. I am going to make it an open mic so that Biafrans, of course, will join me live and make their own contribution. Very, very important. All right, here we are. Now, according to the banner, according to the, of course, the official flyer from the office of the Prime Minister, it says, announcement. The celebration of the Nigeria independence on the 1st of October remains banned in Biafra territory. There will be lockdown on the 1st of October before the 60 days lockdown of Nigeria institutions in Biafra territory as part of the ongoing delegitimization of the Nigeria terrorist state within Biafra land. So now, this very official flyer was made because of the first tweet. Because I know that a lot of people will be confused because of this. So many people will be confused because of this. So, based on the last tweet of the Prime Minister, the last tweet of this very current development says that every Biafran, according to him, he said, Biafrans can go about their businesses. That was the last tweet of this very latest development. So please, and if you go through the official X account of the Prime Minister, you see that the first tweet got almost 50,000, seen or views, whatever you can call it. Now, if you go to the flyer itself, the flyer which he shared yesterday, was it yesterday or 28? Sorry, 28, which has 26k views from my end. I don't know how many it has from your end. Now, when you go to the new one, the latest one, which is the last update he made over this very effect, is got about 30k views, right? Meaning that the first one that has over 50k views from my side has already, gotten the minds of our people more than the latest one. This is what I want you to understand here. More than the latest one. So it is very, very imperative that we educate our people, let them understand what the Prime Minister is trying to say. According to the last tweet, he said that Biafrans can go about their businesses. But the zoo institutions will remain shut down. Will remain shut down tomorrow. So when you bring it back to what I said initially, which I said is going to be tomorrow will be very, very, important and significant in the life of every Biafran What does that mean? That means that as we shut down all the zoo institutions tomorrow, which is not just because of the 30-day lockdown, which is going on as it stands today, but this one is strictly attack on the zoo, which is going to send, signal to the entire world that the people of this very area, the people from this area, have not only rejected the zoo, but also let the zoo know how important, how significant, how they cherish their freedom, how important it is to be free, to have freedom, to be free from from slavery. So for us to abandon the zoo Independence Day celebration is another shocker. It's going to be another shocker to the zoo, to Tinubu, to the ministers, to the governors, to every single thing that represents Nigerian state in the world at large, not just in Biafraland or in Nigeria, but at worldwide. So please, it is very, very important that our people get this message. The reason why we will boycott anything that has to do with the zoo independence is because we are no longer Nigerians. Therefore, we cannot celebrate Nigeria. And more importantly, as far as the zoo is concerned, the zoo represents death. I want you to listen. The Nigeria state as it stands today represents death. And we cannot celebrate our death. Nigeria has murdered our people, buying our people, and they keep on buying our people on a regular basis. In fact, this is now a routine thing. They have murdered our people on regular basis. Therefore, the zoo itself represents death, and we cannot afford to celebrate our own, passing away. We can't celebrate our own unaliving. Let me use the word they use on TikTok. Are you paying attention? So, when you see something which is, destroying your life, the only option you have is to stay away from it. That is the only option you have, to stay away from it completely. Because failure to stay away from it, you may not even live to regret it. You may not live to regret it. So there is no any celebration within Biafraland tomorrow. Now, I want to play this very video just to remind the zoo, had it been that they listened to this very man 7 years ago, this very issue wouldn't have gotten to this very level that it is today.
It's spiritual. You can't fight an ideology with gun and bullet. Let me explain this. Sit down before we pray. I'm worried. Some people want to fight an ideology. How do you fight an ideology? An ideology is like a spirit. You can fight an ideology. You can't use gun and bullet to stop an ideology. The way to deal with an ideology, you engage it with wisdom. The only bullet that can kill an ideology is the bullet of knowledge. Wisdom. Wisdom. The only way to deal with the ideology is to go back to the founder of the ideology and reprogram the ideology and stand at the central processing unit of the ideology and make sure it is rightfully corrected. If you remove the leader, have you removed the ideology? There are more crazy Nnamdi Kanu that will come up after Nnamdi.
The zoo, did you hear that? The Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom, did you hear that? If you remove Nnamdi Kanu, there are more people crazier than Nnamdi Kanu who will come up. How many of you remember one idiot that called himself prophet? One idiot that called himself a prophet, who was making a video a couple of months ago when there was a rumor of release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, when the governors were parabolating, gallivanting all over the places, claiming to have or to go and meet Tinubu for him to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to them. One idiot came out and claimed to be a prophet. He said that Simon Ekpa is parasite 1. Nnamdi Kanu is parasite 2. So you cannot release parasite 2 without parasite 1. How many of you remembered it? How many of you saw that video? Although sometime in the past, I also told you that the man was correct. Although he claimed to be a prophet, or claimed to be, speaking prophetically, but there is nothing like prophecy there. It has absolutely nothing to do with prophecy. It's true. That is the truth. That is the truth. Cancer 1 and Cancer 2, which is going to tagidezu, tapiaya, tabunyoya, mad people everywhere, mokoko. Is it parasite or cancer? I don't remember. Either parasite or cancer, he said. Cancer 1, Cancer 2, parasite 1, parasite 2, whatever. Is going to eat the zoo until the zoo is finished.